Scotch, bourbon, and rye. If they like a bottle, they'll tell you why.
Alrighty then.
Hey, everybody.
Somebody said our everybody's like Dr. Nick Riviera.
Yeah.
Dr. Nick Riviera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I say that, though?
No, somebody else did in our comments.
Yeah, I've thought about that.
Yeah. Does he say?
He says,
Hey,
everybody. Yeah.
Okay, on a more serious note, we have Old Pulteney single cask, distilled in 2004, bottled in 2018. It's a 14-year-old single cask Old Pulteney, one of 281 bottles, 50.2% alcohol by volume, and
check. Everything except price.
price.
Yeah.
But how much did it cost?
Well, let me tell you, see. We bought this at the
Let me tell you, see?
We bought this at the 2018 Premium Spirit release on November 3rd, 2018. So this is now months later. We've gotten to know this guy a little bit. And we bought this bottle for $144.99. And I remember when we first unboxed this Scotch, which you can watch. You can watch our first impressions. We were really excited about this one. This was kind of like the pick of the litter.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the ones we were like, oh, I hope we can get that one.
Yeah, we're excited about this one. I remember on the nose being like, I'm not getting much.
It was a bit muted.
It was a bit muted, but it's had a chance to open up. And, you know, on the flavor, however, it was just like that. Everything you could ever dream of an Old Pulteney. Old Pulteney.
And everything you could ever dream of dram.
I am going to just read aloud what it says here.
Please do.
Old Pulteney 2004 Single Cask 229.
Yep.
Exclusive cask bottling for BC liquor stores. The aromas are intense and fragrant. Delicious sweet toffee and honeyed vanilla deliver an indulgent welcome. Ripe fruits tempered by a hint of spice and lovely depth. The taste has lively spiced licorice and salty notes, giving way to the sweeter burst of apple and citrus zest. A gratifying finish is enriched by butterscotch and chocolate.
Wow, we do not even need to do any tasting notes.
Screw the notes, right?
So this one, being that it is 14 years old, could deserve a few minutes to kind of get itself, you know, in the right place aromatically. It did open up after a couple of minutes in the glass. I remember that.
Yeah, and you kind of got to coat the glass a little bit so the alcohol vapors of the 50.2% alcohol goes away a little bit, and what clings to the glass ends up being the spirit that's inside the bottle. Oh, it's still now, after it's had this chance, and actually after these 2 drams, it's sadly really a half-empty bottle.
You know what I was gonna say? So, to me, right off the bat, there's a salty and citrus thing going on.
There is.
And a bit of that floral notes.
I get the floral and a little bit of the soapy kind of
for sure.
rose water style soapiness.
And then I was gonna say like a freshness or fresh water. And some person in our comment section recently was like, what do you mean fresh water? Isn't all water fresh? And I was like, well, no, because you've got that like fresh like river water smell, and then you've got like ocean seawater, and then you've got, of course, all of the different like dirty water, like
river water, stagnant water, you got hard water, you got soft water, you got calcified water, you got fluoride water.
That's right, you got that chemically water.
You've got chlorine water, you've got tons of different types of water. So fresh is something that it like
is
from
a note.
Spring.
It is a note.
Yeah, absolutely it is. I agree.
Because so there's also a fresh smell to this. Get at me, commenter.
And fresh not meaning like new. Like it's a new spirit or a young spirit, I should say.
Like fresh water, like running water, like I think of like a river. It has that like.
If you think about bottles of water that you get at the store,
Right.
how long have they been sitting in that bottle? Like, that's not fresh water.
No.
Fresh water, I mean, we're talking about too
That's
much
true.
probably,
Yeah.
but, you know.
Is this a water review?
Blind water tasting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Oh.
there is the salt. There is a floral. I'm getting more so that rose water, fresh rose water.
But there is also that honey sweetness that was mentioned in
totally.
the book.
The classic Old Pulteney notes are there. It's
Which
just-
is that soapy floral rose water
And
and
salt.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing what they mean by a little bit of chocolate.
I'm not
A
getting
little,
that yet.
a little, like, it's like a fudgy kind of chocolate.
Mm.
But it's
I hope
still
to
muted.
find that.
It's still muted.
I hope one day to be mature
And-
enough to find that.
And there are some like cereal grain style
Mm.
notes to it.
Mm.
Barley sugars.
A little bit of a tobacco raisin kind of thing. like,
Ooh, yeah.
deep in there, like that. I always talk about the tobacco leaves, like in their whole, like when you
Mhm.
get like the chewing tobacco, like that,
Yeah, and you open it up
and you
it
open that
smells like
package.
that's like one of the best smells.
Yeah, it's like a raisiny kind of.
Until you actually smoke it or taste
yeah,
it.
and you're like,
It's
whoa.
Really fantastic
Wow.
nose as it opens up and
Yeah.
has a chance, because this is, again, you can set this one down for 10 minutes.
Oh sure.
And people that drink their whiskey or their scotch or whatever with water in it,
Yeah.
we always endorse trying everything neat first.
Yeah, as it was intended. Really.
Yeah, like, because this is, especially when you're buying something for $144,
Well, I always
it's presented in the way that they want you to have it.
And I always think that is that, like, if you just paid that much money for a 50% scotch, you know, why are you putting water in it? Then just go and buy the 40% Old Pulteney. Because
Yeah,
they've already
yeah.
pre-added that water for you.
I've heard some people's logic of buying cask strength whiskeys that they can add water so it actually, like, doubles the amount of whiskey you have.
But it also probably costs double.
Yeah,
So you probably could have just bought the cheaper one.
Sure.
Yeah, that's probably like the worst rationale to do it.
Yeah, fair. Okay, let's get to the flavor.
But if you're doing it just a little drop here or there because you think it brings out something,
Yeah.
that's the best reason, I think, is because you want to bring something out in it.
For sure, and it does. It truly, truly does. But always start neat. Older whiskeys, older scotches specifically, take less water. Like, if you're going to add water, add less for an older whiskey because it can drown it out.
Yeah, don't start with a big glug.
Yeah.
If you're going to start with a couple drips and then go up from there if you want to.
Yeah. Okay, let's get to the flavor here.
I just want to say lastly that the nose is now kind of booming.
Yeah, it is.
Like,
It takes...
It only took a couple minutes.
It takes a couple minutes.
Okay. Let's drink it.
Oh, there's actually there's like some peppery kind of notes in there as well. Salt rims.
Itchy nose.
It's blooming a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like the bouquet is happening now.
Okay.
Okay,
Let's go.
Taste it.
Nice little sizzle. Like right in the top of my palate here, just like
Yeah.
it's like it's bubbling.
And it's not like
Mm.
the alcohol content is the sizzle. It's actually like a tasting note. The flavor is big, compared to the nose at first.
Yeah.
Again, when we first opened this, we were kind of waiting for it, and then you actually taste it, and that's where it really is. That's where it shines.
But the flavor definitely, in a lot of ways, matches that nose.
It does. The honeys come out a lot more on the flavor.
Yeah. But the floral soapy thing is definitely there on the taste. And the saltiness.
This one's actually like you can take tiny little sips, and you get still a huge show.
This is one of those ones where you kind of open your mouth and let a bit of air in.
Breathe
And
in
it
a
kinda-
little bit when you're...
It kind of enhances that flavor as you breathe in.
Yeah, the oxygen.
Mm.
Really delicious. Sweet and salty. Almost like a sweet and sour kind of thing going on too. Some of the wood resins are in there. The age makes a bit more of a showcase on the finish.
Yeah, because it's a little bit more oaky at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Little drying.
Also still fresh.
Yeah.
Like it's fresh.
It has... And it fresh is a weird note because it's like hard to describe what does fresh mean, but you know it when you taste it.
This one, just going back to nosing this real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when you've tasted a whiskey and you go back to the nose, it's harder to find the nose because you've been enveloped with this flavor. But go back to the nose and it's like there's more notes coming. There's little tiny hints of butterscotch in there. Really good.
I'm getting actually the kind of the apple that they were talking about.
Ah, yeah. It's kind of a caramel style apple.
Mm-hmm.
Really delicious stuff.
It's so kind of different though.
It is. I think Old Pulteney in general is. You know, it's one of those flavors that you taste in a Scotch and you instantly can peg it as Old Pulteney.
Yeah.
And there's few whiskeys in the world that you can have maybe once or twice in your life and then
still
remember.
Yeah, still know it.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, I'm quite confident that's that.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe not as much on the nose, but definitely on the flavor.
Flavor for sure. Yeah.
And it's still got the cool, you know, what's that called?
Compass.
I was gonna say navigator.
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of what it is, but that's
it really is.
not really what it's called, but...
Anyway, the Maritime Malt shines again.
Mm-hmm.
Old Saltney is
Another
back to
winner.
its old tricks.
Oh yeah, and they've gotten rid of the 17 and the 21, and they have
The 12.
Well, they still have the 12. The 12 is kind of like the staple.
Yep.
And then they have like a 1983, which is really expensive.
And actually, in this book, the one right before that we could have got, but I think it's crazy expensive. Yeah, $675 is the 25-year-old.
Yeah. Ooh.
That's a little bit much.
Probably out of our price range.
Yeah. But anyway, for $144, you get pretty good bang for your buck.
I'm happy
and
with
you
that.
don't want to spend too much more than that on anything, really.
No.
So thank you for joining us. Click like, click subscribe, leave a comment. We always get back to you. And thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Clinky.